Okay. Hello, everyone.
Sam is in a coma.
Welcome to Cartoon Nami. Let's see. Okay. A little better. Worked on the sound a little bit. So, today is a fun episode.
Thundercats Day.
Yes, we are going under the Great Thundercats. So,
And this is Cartoonami, not
yes.
15 minutes ago.
No, this
right?
is Cartoon Nami. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're currently.
We do mini much podcasts.
Yes, we really do. So, you may have to look up the information on Thundercats real quick while I'm.
What's to look up? It's Thundercats.
It is Thundercats. Like
Rankin Bass.
Yeah, it was Rankin Bass and all that. It was 1986.
6 or 5.
It was 1986.
I guess I will pull up the information.
Yeah, that's the thing. At least pull up IMDb. We can at least do some of the voice cast stuff.
Bit of Star Trek. The guy who did the voice of Panthro.
Yes.
He played Cisco's dad.
Really?
Cisco's dad and Admiral Cartwright in Star Trek. Is it 3, 4, 5, and 6? Yeah.
Really? That is actually quite interesting. That it was Panthro.
Panthro, the Black Thundercat.
Yes.
You can't tell. Panthro's black.
Yeah. Yes.
Everybody knew Panthro was black. That's why he was the coolest Thundercat.
So,
who was your favorite Thundercat? Let's start with that.
Well, when it came to I would have to say, besides Panthro, because Panthro is just freaking amazing, I would have to say Snarf. Snarf. No. I would probably have to say it was Jaga.
The Ghost? The Obi-Wan? I'm talking about of the cat, the main cast of
Jaga was kind of the main cast.
We got Lion-O, Panthro, Chitara.
I would have to say, because let's be honest. For me, the way I am, I had the biggest fucking crush on Chitara, but
Bengali.
Yeah.
We can even add Linkso.
Yeah, Linkso and all that.
Yeah.
Because for me, I would have to say probably Lion-O was my favorite of the original ones, but
1985.
But do you want to make this one just all about the 1985, or do you want to do?
We can talk about it in general, but when you talk about Thundercats, you talk about the 80s one. Nobody liked the Redux one in 2011.
I love the 2011 one. I thought the animation style was great. The story was good. I was pissed off that they didn't finish it. But the reason they didn't finish it was because of toy sales. And it left off the biggest fucking cliffhanger because Mumra won. Lion-O's about to fucking die. And what was the girl? I can't remember the girl Thundercat.
Chitara?
No, not Chitara. No,
Igra.
Yeah. She and she was the one who kind of leaves Lion-O to die because apparently during the initial attack at the beginning of the series when they had to flee Thundercats' kingdom, she was trapped under a bunch of rubble and yelling for help, and nobody came for her. But she could hear people walking away, but nobody would hear her. So that's why she took it out on she betrayed Lion-O and joined up with Mumra. But if we
see, I didn't care for the new one at all. I hated the animation style. You have an iconic animation style with the Rankin Bass looking stuff from the 80s. It's just got this wonderful, super detailed for its time.
Yeah, it was.
And I didn't care for the story.
They fixed the big problem where Snarf doesn't talk.
I didn't like it.
I loved it. And I was sad to see it go. Now, back on the main characters and stuff. If we were like, are we going just plain regular Thundercats, or are we just doing like the whole series? That's like, who's your favorite character?
Who's your favorite character? Period.
Yeah,
my favorite character. Period is Mumra.
Exactly, Mumra.
Ancient spirits of evil.
Friends down this wretched. I thought, was it wretched or decayed? I think it depends on.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to look it up because, like, I think it's two different versions.
The ever living.
Because, like, now there was a lot of fun episodes when it came to Thundercats, but the one episode that I still cannot find. That I legit think, I don't know if it was a fever dream or not, but they were fighting these two gigantic, like, guardian statues that they ended up, where they were either bad or good, that they had to defeat for some trial. I am not entirely for sure, but I strictly remember.
That sounds familiar. I guess we'll just have to watch every single episode.
Yeah, again. Because, like, the funny thing was, like, I had the exact same problem when it comes to the episode Tiger from Batman the Animated Series, where I would explain the episode, and nobody was like, I do not remember that. I think you're just making things up. What was one of your favorite episodes?
It was let's see, of the earlier episodes, I love that episode where King Arthur comes to.
I remember that one.
The Thundercats lair, and it's Mumra in disguise.
Yeah.
Because I have an affinity for King Arthur stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that, Mr. Pendragon.
But I probably that episode when the Lunatics.
The Lunatics.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
Okay, you remember? Okay. Yeah, it was Mumra and the mutants, Slythe and all them, and they just fucked up and they could never beat the Thundercats. And so Mumra unleashes, he releases from their captivity the Lunatics.
Yeah.
And they're from, each one of them is from a moon of Plundar. You remember them at all?
Vaguely. Because I think we talked about it before and I had to look them up. I vaguely remember them.
They each had a separate power. And they had almost defeated Mumra years and years before. And then he encased them in lava. And he went to them to get them to defeat the Thundercats for him after he released them. And they almost did beat the Thundercats. But my favorite Lunatic is a guy named Tugmug.
Yeah.
He had no legs. He had his torso stopped right at his waist, and then he had this rounded orbs as legs. And the moon that he was from had extremely high gravity. So Tugmug was ridiculously strong, and he shattered the Sword of Omens.
Yeah.
And Lion-O was like, I don't know what to do now. That's my whole personality, is that fucking sword. He had an existential crisis. And then he had to have, was it Bengali? It was the White Tiger one.
Yeah.
Mend the Sword of Omens.
The blind one.
Yeah, the blind one.
Yeah.
No, that was Linkso. Linkso was the blind one.
Yeah.
But let me see here on the cast of characters. Bengali.
The one episode that sticks out to me a lot.
Bengali, yeah, that's his name. He's the blacksmith one.
That I really remember a lot. And that's like, it's a very early on episode. Okay. Who was the big warrior up in the mountains that had the cat?
What was his name? The cat was Snow Meow.
Snow Meow.
Snow Meow, and he talked like this. Snow Meow.
Yes.
What was his name?
He was a great warrior, and he shows up periodically and whoops ass every time.
Yes, he does. I need to go to. There's a Thundercats fan site I need to go to.
Oh, the wiki.
No, this predates the wiki.
Then there was, let's see here. What was another good episode?
No. Yeah, no, I love that guy.
Did you ever read the comics?
I did. I did read some of the comic books. I mean, there's nothing Marvel did them.
Like, what about, because, like, for me, I read because the end of the series ended on the cliffhanger where he goes into the the Book of Omens.
Yeah.
And, like, apparently, during that time in the comics, Mumra won.
Mumra.
He ends up, like, enslaving all the Thundercats and, like, basically put Wily Kit and Wily Cat as his personal slaves.
No, yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah. And then, like, when Lion-O came back, he's trying, to do everything he can to save the day, like, to bring, like, to defeat Mumra and all that stuff. Apparently, I guess it did, and then it just turned back to the norm.
Yeah.
It was, like, some amazing comic series.
I loved Thundercats until they left Third Earth and went to New Thundera, because every fucking episode, somebody had stolen the gyroscope at the center of the planet, and we gotta go get them, or the New Thundera's gonna spin off into oblivion. Every episode.
That's saying I vaguely
had Jaga's female counterpart was like the guardian of the gyroscope. I'm like, lady, you suck at your job.
Was she a ghost?
No.
Because I vaguely remember it. Like, when it came to, like, especially, like, when we get, like, talking about that 2011 series. Like, it's like...
It is Decade.
It was Decade?
Yes, it is Decade.
Okay. Like...
Marmot. Everybody loves Marmot.
Yeah. Baby dog. Now I just need to see Jim Justice dressed up as fucking Mumra.
Ancient spirits of West Virginia, transform this obese form into Governor, the ever-ruling.
Oh, God. Fucking love it. It was what was some of the other characters that showed? Well, you know what? Let's go with the villains. Who was your favorite of the mutants?
I guess probably their leader.
Slide.
Yeah.
They were all completely bumbling. Like, they were, like, except for Slide. Even Slide was probably the most competent of them.
Yeah.
Like, but that was the big thing I loved about 2011 about it. Because they fixed the villains to where they were actually competent and, like, legit. Like,
the Lunatics were competent.
Well, I'm talking about your main villains. Also, like, with the Sword of Omen's origin, it was a little different in the really, like, different in the 2011 series, where apparently, like, it was originally supposed to be meant for Mumra, that he was about to destroy, because he had everybody enslaved. He had the cats, dogs, all the other species enslaved, but the cats followed him, like, religiously, and then they rebelled. Except for the tigers, and that's why the tiger clans were banished.
Like, that's what I don't like about the new one. Like, New Thundera was destroyed, and they, wander through space, cryogenically frozen, and then land on Third Earth where Mumra, like, really, Mumra is a little justified. Because these cats come out of nowhere and start telling him how he should rule Third Earth.
And this was my home before you all showed up.
Now, son, if you don't like what Mumra's doing, go to the other side of Third Earth and live with Mumrana, okay?
Now that was the good one, right?
Mm-hmm. She was weaker than Mumra,